Hey everybody, my name is Mike. I am not for Coltrane. Welcome to your Coltrane Tuesdays for this, the 23rd day of January in the year 2024 of the Common Era. And I had a necktie around here. Oh, there it is. Excuse me. Just a moment. All right. If that ever happened to Mr. Rogers, they're able to just do it over again. Anyway, my name is Mike. I'm not for Coltrane. Yes, thanks very much to to everyone who's jumping in with us. Mark had remarked that he likes the clue that was in the thumbnail for this week's video. Knowing that it is a U2 song, you probably have a pretty good idea which one it is if you have familiarity with U2 and their oeuvre, shall we say. But we will get to that shortly. We are also going to play a round of the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game, and to let people know how that works, I feel like this isn't quite the right length, but it'll do. If the way the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game works is people who are live online with us will give us a song suggestion. Well, in particular, will give me a song suggestion, a song request, in fact, and I will have to play that song regardless of whether I happen to know that song. So perhaps someone will request one that I know. It could be a U2 song. If someone will request a song, we'll find out if I know it or have played it before, and if so, I will attempt to remember how to play it. If someone requests a song that I kind of sort of know, like I've seen other people play it, or maybe I used to know it 25 years ago, I will then attempt to figure out how to play it here in front of everyone. If I do not recognize the requested song at all, I will have to make up a brand new song right here on the spot with the same name as the song that was requested, thereby technically satisfying the requirement. That is how we play the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. But this is Beth's education, which is excellent. So thanks very much to folks who are live online with us and anyone who's watching the replay. We are starting today with one of my favorite U2 songs from my very favorite U2 album, The Joshua Tree. We'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. That sounds like it's in tune and brand new strings, so we'll see how that goes too. This is the leadoff track to The Joshua Tree, Where the Streets Have No Name. And for many, many years, I've been merging that song with a traditional, I believe, Scottish song, melody, certainly, and also a song called Wild Mountain Thyme, T-H-Y-M-E, as in the herb seasoning. So we're going to see how this goes. I've been rehearsing. It includes some of the more challenging things I've tried to do with the guitar, and I don't think I'm quite up to it, but I think it will be almost good. So we'll see. Wild Mountain Thyme joined together with Where the Streets Have No Name by U2. Let's see how this goes. want to tear down the walls that hold me inside. I want to reach out and touch the flame where the streets have no name. I want to feel sunlight on my face. I see the dust cloud disappear without a trace. Every desert rose is a prayer for rain where the streets have no name. Where the streets have no name. Where the streets have no name. Still building and burning down love. Burning down love. And when I go there with you. It's all I can do. The city's aflood, and our love turns to rust. Beaten and blown by the wind, trampled in dust. Show you a place high on a desert plain where the streets have no name. Oh, where the streets have no name. Where the streets have no name. Still building and burning down love. Burning down love. Oh, go there with you. It's all I can do. Our love turns to rust. We're beaten and blown by the wind. Blown by the wind. Oh, and I see the dust. See our love turn to rust. And we're beaten and blown by the wind. Blown by the wind. And when I go with you. It's all I can do. It's all I can do. It's all I can do. Where the streets have no name, with a little bit of Wild Mountain Thyme for seasoning. That came out probably better than than it deserved to, based on the amount of time. Yes, Beth, I saw the note about a way to sell it. Yeah, well, you know, that's a key part, is managing the expectations for how things are going to go. So yeah, I did a cursory amount of research about this particular song, but let me also talk a little bit about where my interpretation of it came from. The Wild Mountain Thyme bit was in fact inspired by a wonderful fingerstyle guitarist by the name of Al Petaway. he came to my college as part of a concert more than a few years ago, and I was just really, really inspired by what he did on stage. And I'm like, I need to go home and go back to the dorm and pick up the guitar. And I told him that. He's like, yes, go. That's wonderful. That's one of the better compliments a musician can receive. So he had played Wild Mountain Thyme solo as part of that. And I also was very heavily influenced by Victor Wooten's version of Amazing Grace, which is kind of obvious if you if you hear both of those together, that the style and the interpretation of starting with a sort of a slower, more contemplative, and then moving to sort of a faster and bouncier version. Oh, hi. So I'm back. Hold on, the video settings are screwy. Let me fix that. Okay, so hi. The computer crashed, but it looks like I was able to reconnect back to where I was. I think possibly. So yes, so there we are. I think so. We've got there. That's there, and let's see if that will not do anything for me there. And I can try to pull that up. And it looks like I'm reconnected both with Facebook as with YouTube. I think maybe. Hi, hello. I did maybe the things. I did maybe the things. All right, so let me put this back down here, back down there, and that's happening there. Okay, so yes, I was talking about my arrangement of Wild Mountain Thyme, inspiration from Al Petaway, the fingerstyle guitarist, as well as Vic Wooten, fingerstyle bassist. Wonderful performer, musician. So yes, so here we are, and oh yes, so I was then going to talk about Where the Streets Have No Name. So it is indeed the lead-off track. I did maybe the things. Good time. All right, so as I mentioned before all things went kaflooey, the Joshua Tree is my very favorite U2 album. It has a lot going on. I talked the other week about The Unforgettable Fire, which includes, of course, last week I did Pride in the Name of Love. Their first collaboration with Brian Eno, the ambient musician, as well as, well, something's trying to reach me here too as well, which is not helping. And Daniel Lanois, who had worked a lot with Brian Eno. They came back together to work on Joshua Tree. And one of the key influences for Bono was the American idea, as well as how that contrasted with the American reality. Further influenced by travels around the world and lots of other collaborations with lots of other musicians, including a trip to Africa, a trip to Central America, I believe, and. Bono was also, now someone's texting me, which is really not helping. Okay, so, Bono actually then also got to hang out with Keith Richards and Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones, and they were introducing him to all these American blues ideas and blues songs, and Bono was really, really taken with that. Edge was leaning much more toward this sort of European sound and sort of, I think, delving more into what had drawn him to Brian Eno in the first place. But then Edge is like, no, listen to this. This is really good. And Edge was also starting to listen to some of the roots music from the United States. And sort of the push-pull between those different ideas came together to make the Joshua Tree album. In a lot of ways, lyrically, Bono was really inspired by what he was hearing in these American folk songs and American blues songs, and wanted to be more specific and less impressionistic in his lyrics. Where the Streets Have No Name is one of the songs on the album that has less of a specific lyrical idea, is more of a throwback to the earlier styles, where it's increasingly impressionistic. Although if you think about it, if you listen to Joshua Tree album, a lot of it is very specific. Bullet in the Blue Sky, or rather Bullet the Blue Sky is the name of the track, I think, has lots of wonderful specificity and also an intriguing amount of vagueness. So there's a lot of that going on in the lyrics for this particular album. As it happened, the lyrics for Where the Streets Have No Name happened during that trip to Ethiopia. Bono was there with his wife Ali after the Live Aid show that I think I also talked about last time. The initial draft of some of the lyrics was written on an air sickness bag, and he commented later that it was inspired by the deserts all around the villages where he was visiting in Ethiopia, but with the idea of this Americanness and this exploration of America. I very much think of the desert Southwest, which of course is also helped by the photos that are part of the album package there with Joshua Tree, of course named for the Joshua Tree out west in this country. The literal inspiration, partly from a story that you heard about Belfast in Northern Ireland, where you could tell what socioeconomic class a person was, as well as what religion they were, based on their street name, based on where they lived. And so that, plus the fact that there are all the streets and roads where he was in Ethiopia, literally had no names, got him thinking about it. We talked about Imagine last week, imagining fewer things that divide humanity, and that obviously ended up being part of what inspires the idea there. He very much regrets, so Bono calls the song a sketch, more so than the other songs on Joshua Tree. He regrets the slant rhyme between hide and inside, although really I don't think it's that. I think it's not even a slant rhyme. It's great. That's fine. I don't have any problem with that. Brian Eno also remarked that sometimes having the more impressionistic lyrics invite in the listener. They allow the listener to finish them, which I think is it's something that I struggle to do with as a songwriter, and so I admire that Bono has that ability. This was the third single off Joshua Tree, coming out at the end of August of '87. Joshua Tree itself came out in March. Edge worked out the initial parts of the song on his own. He was at his new house with a 4-track and a bunch of instruments and a drum machine, and he sort of sketched out an idea. He brought it to the band and like, yeah, cool, we like that. But then it took a lot of work to shape it into something that more resembled a song. Daniel Lanois described it as the science project song, as they kept trying to tinker with it and re-record bits and re-record bits and re-record bits and re-record bits until none of the original recording was actually still there. There was lots of rebuilding, lots of re-recording. The arrangement was diagrammed on a chalkboard at one point, apparently. But it does. It starts off with so yes, U2 is from Ireland. Yes, I didn't actually say that. U2 is from Ireland. I think I did say that one week, and that the nicknames for Bono and Edge came from the street gang that they hung around with as teenagers there in Dublin. In any case, the exploration of the wider world. The song does, the album version of the song has a lengthy introduction, which initially starts with synthesized strings sort of washing over each other. Ordinarily, I'm not a big synthesized string guy, but I think this kind of works, and it very much is Brian Eno in the way it sort of is atmospheric, and then it comes in with Edge's guitar riff, which notably is in 3/4 time. And then the rest of the song is in 4/4 time, and then at the end it goes back to that guitar figure from Edge in 3/4. And so there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on there. Bono did end up saying that he liked it because it had the it evoked to him the sound of an orchestra tuning up and sort of going in to the album, and they decided that this needed to be the first track on the album, sort of inviting people in, like, hey, let's go. If you're interested, if you're down for this, we're gonna dive right in. Notably, other things that ended up being significant with the song also, very much of the Joshua Tree album was overshadowed and influenced by the very recent death of Greg Carroll at the time. Greg Carroll had been touring around with the band for quite a while. He was the roadie and Bono's personal assistant. He also features in the video from Live Aid. He died in July of '86 at 26 years old, and really was a blow to the band and the people who were close to them. In addition, notably, the music video for Where the Streets Have No Name featured the band playing on a rooftop, much like the Beatles before them. Also without a permit, very nearly shut down by the cops. But it sort of adds to the drama and the whole idea of we're exploring America. So there you go. So that's more than a little bit about Where the Streets Have No Name. My idea for my arrangement of it was sort of like, what if Alison Krauss and Union Station recorded Where the Streets Have No Name? And so that's kind of what was in my head. And there are various things to do with it with multiple voices. And so, interesting stuff, I think. Beth remarks that I'm not Irish. Well, yes and no. I am of Irish descent. I'm about half of Irish descent and about half of German descent. Interestingly, on both sides of my family. From both of my parents are split Irish and German, with a few other things along the way. So, there we are. And now we're going to shift into playing the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. While I attempt to tune, I will tell you again, in case you missed the top of the show, or in case you've forgotten because of all the weirdness with the stream crashing and my computer going away. The way we play the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game is people who are live online with us, or people who have reached out to me ahead of time, will give me a song request, a song suggestion, and I will have to play regardless of whether I know the requested song. Someone requests one that I do happen to know, one that I've played before, I will try to remember how to play it. If someone requests a song that I sort of know, I will try to figure out how to play it. If someone requests a song that I do not know at all, I will have to make up a brand new song right here on the spot with the same name as the song that was requested, thereby technically satisfying the requirement. That is how we play the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. Let's see what's been going on in the chat. My point is that I can't say whether it's a slant rhyme because I pronounce things differently. That's true. Although I think it's also interesting because Bono developed a bit of an accent for his singing. I can't remember if I think it's kind of an American accent for his singing because so much of what he was listening to was was American recordings. I mentioned this the other week that U2 actually started out as a punk band. They're listening to a lot of the Ramones and things like that. So I don't know if the singing accent was more American or British, but it definitely was not Irish. And so it is sometimes a little jarring to hear Bono talk because he definitely is very Irish. So, the request, Mark had said, if we had Pet Shop Boys vibe, they paired Where the Streets Have No Name with Can't Take My Eyes Off You. Yes, I did hear that, but I have not heard that particular mashup. I think, Mark, that was what you said earlier. Let's see. He said, if we have Pet Shop Boys vibe, they paired Where the Streets Have Can't Take My Eyes. So, Mark, if you want to clarify if that is in fact... if that is in fact your Stump the Band request, or if there's something else coming in, I will try to stall for just a moment. Oh yeah, clarification as to what the requested song for the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game actually is. I think I remarked the other week about U2 recording a version of Night and Day, which is another thing that I haven't heard before. But but apparently that was for some sort of a project or tribute album, which then ended up contributing to, what was it, Sick Puppy, or something Puppy, which then led to the bass riff for Mysterious Ways. So all sorts of genre influences and things going around to put together these songs as they are now. I do think in general, I really like it when songs survive translation into an entirely different genre or a different sort of instrumentation or arrangement, because to me that says something powerful about the songwriting. So I like that a lot. So, Mark, yes, that is definitely a Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game request. So apparently it is either a mashup of Where the Streets Have No Name and Can't Take My Eyes Off You, or just Can't Take My Eyes Off You. So I'm going to say it's just Can't Take My Eyes Off You, which I don't really know. I know, like, you know when you see something out of the corner of your eye? That's kind of how I feel about, like, the one little snippet I vaguely recall from Can't Take My Eyes Off You. I know it is... what do I know about Can't Take My Eyes Off You? I feel like it's kind of a jazz standard-ish, or something maybe from the 50s. That has that kind of a vibe. Yeah, probably more of like a 50s early rock and roll slow song kind of thing. Can't Take My Eyes Off You. Well, if I'm going to say if you two, if Pet Shop Boys, oh, what a big surprise, Mike isn't familiar with the love song. Yep. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, well, I think Where the Streets Have No Name is kind of a love song, but I think that tells you all you need to know about how I feel about love songs. Key of D. Got a phone call, so I can't hear you defending myself. You're just... Oh, okay. Mark is helping out with some lyrics. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I want to hold you so much. At long last, this love has arrived, and thank God I'm alive. Just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. Pardon the way that I stare, there's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. I do enjoy also how lots of various love songs can come across as fairly creepy. Yes. Favorite version of this is super dark and creepy. Yes, it definitely has some of the what's it? I'll Be Watching You from Police kind of vibes. It hadn't occurred to me until just now, the idea of a band called The Police doing that particular song is an interesting commentary on the surveillance state. too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. Feels kind of dark. I think I'm okay with that. So, you know, it's I think you should let me. Oh, okay. I should let I can't there's a emoji in the way, so I can't see the entirety of Beth's comment, but that's something about I should let Beth sing this one when we do the Redemption. The Coltrane Tuesdays Redux. We'll see. Quite possibly. It's one that we definitely should mess around with and see what we can come up with. All right, I need to try to keep Mark's helpful added lyrics there on the screen. Too good to be true. I can't take my eyes off you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I want to hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived. I thank God I'm alive. To be true, I can't take my eyes off you. Too good to be true. I can't take my eyes off you. Pardon the way that I stare. There's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. You're just too good to be true. I can't take my eyes off you. Too good to be true. Can't take my eyes. Across a crowded room, hoping we can meet up soon. I cannot imagine what things could be instead of you. I can't take my eyes off you. You're too good to be true. Take my eyes off you. day when our hearts meet, beneath those dancing feet, sweeping across time. I will be so glad you're mine, it's true. I can't take my eyes off you. Oh, it's true. I can't take my eyes off you. Too good to be true. I can't take my eyes off you. Some vague approximation of Can't Take My Eyes Off You. Thanks very much to Mark for the suggestion as well as the lyrics. And I don't know what else to say about that. I was reminded there were some things in there that weren't actually words, which reminded me of another. The name of the performer is escaping me at the moment, but he's been on Dropouts, Make Some Noise quite a bit, and also does his own webcast with improvising music and lyrics. And he remarked at the end of one of the very good improvisations, he says, "Don't slow it down because some of those weren't actually words. That's the secret of musical improv. You just keep going." So that's what I kept in mind this time, even though I had backed myself into a corner with a word that I really couldn't figure out a rhyme for. So there you go. Maybe I'll, whenever the links go online, post episode soon, maybe I'll post a link to an animated version of that. So there you go. Thanks again to Mark for the lyrics as well as the request. Yes, Zach. Zach is the one I'm thinking of. Zach is the one I'm thinking of. And I'm not remembering Zach's last name. But again, there will be stuff in the links. If you're watching this in the future and the thumbnail includes my face, then you'll know that there are links along with the thing. You can go find out the actual reference to what I'm talking about from Make Some Noise on Dropout. So there you go. I don't think there's much else to say. I need to go do something else. So thanks again to everyone who's been watching, everyone who's been hitting the like button. If you thought something we did today was fun or interesting or amusing, please hit that share button to let other people know. Of course, subscribe or like on all the various platforms where Not for Coltrane stuff is with content that's out there. And since last time I said I didn't know when the Jan-U Tuesdays was going to end, and then it occurred to me, right, it's in the name. Jan-U Tuesdays! Jan-U Tuesdays. So we should probably wrap it up with January, which means that there's one more, and you'll note that every U2 song I've done as part of the series is from a different album. Let's see, so I did one from War with New Year's Day. I did Achtung Babies, Mysterious Ways. I did Pride in the Name of Love from Unforgettable Fire, and today I did Where the Streets Have No Name from Joshua Tree. So there are several albums remaining, but you can probably there's a big one that I haven't touched yet, so we'll see about that next time. But until then, my name is Mike. I am Not for Coltrane. Please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you again very soon.